Hello there, and welcome back to Corey Loses, where today we are once again continuing our Thrawn's Revenge Imperial Civil War 2.3 preview playthrough as the Arado Authority. In the last episode, we got up to the point about here where we have this line of planets. We took this space over Kashyyyk as well, and we're basically going to focus on this little triangle. So taking Camp, Hakasi, and Kuat, we're also going to take the ground part of Kashyyyk as well. But our ground forces are down here, so we'll probably leave this fleet there for now. Between the episodes, I did get the rest of our patron units coded in, so I'm going to start trying to build the rest of them. Do we have... Yeah, let's get go there. And this afternoon at 3 p.m. EST, we're also going to have a community multiplayer match set. So those will all be live streamed. Basically, I stream on both Twitch and YouTube. I put the games up, and then whoever wants to join can join in. We usually do like 3 or 4 games, sometimes 5. We're going to be going for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. So yeah, that'll be this afternoon at 3 p.m. EST. Check out either the Twitch or YouTube channel, and it'll let you know when the stream's going live. So we will get back into it here. Let's get our ground forces over to camp. Summer camp. We are building up Corellia as an economic planet for us. So let's get that going as well, and let's get the invasion of camp underway. 2 barracks, HV gun, and no actual units. So it's not going to be a terribly difficult one. Oh, but I hate this map, so yay. Rogue, I know you're watching. Hypori map. Make a Hypori map.
Reporting.
Okay, it's one of the cut up ones.
Moving out.
So Rogue, still make a Hypori map, but
Advancing.
it's not as high priority now. This is much better. So yeah, let's get them going in there, and let's grab this next one up. I think there's actually
Ready. Construction complete.
sensor array somewhere.
Enemy forces ahead.
Oh wait, that's okay. Those are scout bikes.
All right, men, take cover.
Look at that. It's the turbo laser.
Roger.
Let's get those extra vehicles. All right, you guys can waddle your way up there now.
Roger that.
So we'll just get the vehicles, and then I guess I'll send them up here to look for another thingy.
Form up.
A sensor array.
We've recruited some mercenaries. Affirmative.
Boom. Boom.
Squad, advance.
So I guess hopefully by the next episode I'll start getting in some more of the especially the scale changes, and maybe some more of the company size changes. That's going to be the first step in the next round of ground changes that we work on.
I copy.
I was going to do it a bit earlier, but there's also did I mention it in this playthrough? There's a feature edition for 2.3 that I was working on instead for the moment, so that kind of fell off. And then I was also working on some Fall of the Republic stuff. So
Order acknowledged.
I'm basically juggling between a few things right now
Yes, Commander.
because I get bored.
Heading out.
But let's grab
Fall out,
that.
troops.
But yeah, so basically the feature thing that I'm working on is we want to have the ability for people to, when they start the air progressive GCs, to pick which era they're starting in, which is somewhat complicated, but it can use some similar ideas to how the from the ground up GC works, where the units are spawned in via a Lewis script rather than always being there, like rather than being set in the code. So basically we have to decide, like, we have to have different sets of starting forces that are all spawned in via Lua for each different potential era. Then we also have to have the way for people to pick which era they're going to start in. And so because the starts are still based on stuff, based on like lore accurate information, there are some factions that'll only have a few options to start with, or a few eras they can start in. Because like you're not going to be able to start as the Arado Authority in Era 5 or something. But hopefully that should add a few different ways to play the air progressive scenarios. Because sometimes it can be a bit difficult to play in some of the later eras, especially because If you just end up finishing the Galactic Conquest, then, I mean, you usually by the time you get to Era 5, you've got this scenario pretty much on lockdown. So you don't get to spend as much like actual gameplay time in some of the later eras. The biggest challenge with this is going to be working in the story scripts in ways that don't mess up, which is always difficult. So that's the biggest challenge, but we should be able to work around it. Once we're actually doing the work, it'll probably be a little bit easier to visualize. So once that's set up, I'll try to get a preview video in, just showing exactly how that works. I'm mostly doing Essence of War as the testing ground for it. So the smallest one, easiest one to do it in. But yeah, so the other good part of that is that usually when you're setting up Galactic Conquests, they're basically coded as a separate scenario for every faction that's present in it. So all the starting forces for each Galactic Conquest have to be set. If there are 7 playable factions in the Galactic Conquest, you're setting the starting forces in 7 places. And what we can do with this, once it's operational, if it's and just to say this now, anything that I try to talk about like this, if it ends up not working, then it ends up not working. I'm just basically trying to lay out what the plans are. And usually we don't like to announce stuff until it's completely finished, because then if it's something comes up with it that's an issue, then no one's disappointed because they never heard of it. But yeah, so anyways, one of the upsides for this is instead of having to do the starting forces in like 7 or 8 different places for the Galactic Conquest that have 7 or 8 playable factions, we only have to change it in one place in the script. And even between different Galactic Conquests, we'd be able to use some of the same scripts, some of the same starting forces. Like if we just make a library out of them and have different like preset fleets, because we did want to make some of the starting forces a bit more consolidated in a lot of the GCs anyways. So having smaller amounts of larger fleets rather than having like every planet have 1 or 2 ships on it, and try to base them on some more accurate stuff. So hopefully that'll add a lot to some of the campaigns, and that way we can have different era starts for the GCs without having to have like 7 different Galactic Conquests, since there's 5 eras and 2 sub-eras. Yeah, so hopefully that'll all work out all right, and then hopefully we'll be able to show that off. But that is one of the major features that we would like to be able to do for this next upcoming version.
Construction complete.
Now that I've announced that before it's finished, I'm going to be unable to do it for whatever reason. And that's life sometimes. But we should be able to get the rest of the south handled here. I've got one more acclimator, I believe, that we can build. So I'll build that next for patron units.
Tartan cruiser reporting.
Delvardis. Once we have this next line of plants taken, I'm going to kill off all of our heroes. They're going down. They've served us well, but they're a threat to our power. They're going to try to take over the faction. I can't have that.
Star Destroyer standing by.
Alright.
Star Destroyer reporting in.
Okay, stop spinning. Keep shooting.
TIE interceptor here.
There we go.
Setting up my
Interceptor squad reporting.
Awaiting your orders.
Enemy forces.
Awaiting your command.
Target locked. Taking them out.
Your command, sir.
Intercepting. We won't be around much longer. Commander. Critical.
Alright, so that's mostly taken out. Let's get the hunters to go and hunt. Let's get the fighters to go and fight. And the bombers can go and bomb. You know what? Bomb that one. I'm going to just set you guys to hunt for enemy.
Take out the iron cannon.
Alright, Electo. You're going to focus on their smaller ships. You're going to keep focusing on the Golan, and you guys are going to go around the back and take out the station.
Form us. Destroyer here.
Forces.
Those torpedo launchers must be destroyed. Copy.
Ready for command, sir.
The lasers are our target.
Alright, so... it'll be a while before we can get to our Executor. It's 10 times as many credits as we have right now, but I do want to start saving up for it. But we need the rest of our economy set up a little bit. We've got basically half the galaxy, but we're still not super far ahead in either forces or credits, which is nice. But another thing that we've been sort of talking about internally is handling the way that the other factions will sort of behave. It's kind of hard to explain. So making it so that it's easier for the other AI factions to sort of coalesce the farther you get in the Galactic Conquest, so it's easier, or so they can present more of a challenge. I'm not sure if I actually did talk about this in one of the previous episodes, but generally I'm just going to assume I didn't, even though I almost certainly did, and I'll just repeat myself. But if you look at the map we have here on the Galactic map, like a lot of the factions are still alive, and as a result, a lot of them are kind of small. So you want to put like certain breakpoints where some of the AI factions will start to combine, or some other stuff will happen that continues to provide some sort of a threat. We don't want to make it so that they just continuously have random spawns of units. That is generally something we try to avoid, but different events for like one-off spawns or combinations of factions, like once the leader dies and they're below a certain amount of galactic power, if a warlord faction would append themselves to the biggest Imperial faction still around, or the Remnant if you're not playing the Remnant. So just different ways that we can make it a bit harder, especially on higher difficulties, in terms of keeping the enemy forces organized against you. And that kind of thing. Alright, so we have camp now. We have Kakasi next, and we have Kuwait after that. So let's go and get that acclimator. Here it is. We have ground support Tango Foxtrot. Corey Boat Party, we'll get that one as well. So we'll get the rest of these, and how many ISDs do we have left? 2 ISDs. Visionary and bulk ordered ties. New Republic wants this planet. They're taking all that stuff. How are they doing? Empire's down to 12% military strength. PA is up to 32. We are up to 21. The PA is not messing around. They're not expanding a lot, but they're building up so much. I'm just afraid of this, which is why I'm not doing anything yet. Because if they have an interdictor, they do not. Okay, that's good. I don't know why they have artillery. That's not going to help. But 12 capital ships and 2 quasars. I mean, really, the MC-80 Liberties don't... They're not the most capital of capital ships.
There they are. Blast them.
This planet doesn't belong to either of us, so I'm gonna just tell you guys you can have it, and I'm gonna leave. Because I don't want this. All those bombers look scary to my praetors. I have no tartans here.
Comlink active.
Comlink active.
I have the target in sight.
Preparing for jump to light speed.
Let's go. Yeah, it looks like the New Republic's really pushing back in this area. I kind of want to take a look at... I do have the debug structure, so it was accidentally included in one of the released versions. Jesus. But we do have this debug tool, basically, which when you build it, it shows us what's going on every planet, like where all the units are, which it's super helpful for testing if we want to know where stuff is. And I kind of want to use that just to see what's going on, especially up here. Because Zinj is just down to those 3 planets, and I assume... Because his power is still pretty high, right? Like, not huge, but considering how many planets... Yeah, he still had 10%. And Maldrude... They're not super bad off, but... Yeah, it does look like the New Republic is making a lot of progress out that way. They're just going to close around the Maldrude and then... Alright, so yeah, we'll just continue on over here. We'll let that happen over at Kashyyyk. And I'm going to finish building this up here. So we've got that. Did we build all of our Praetors? No. Okay. Let's just go in and take Hakasi, rather. That'll be easy.
Invasion commencing.
It's more of their economic planets. Well, there's really not much of the Empire left. I'm assuming Dala must have spawned, or Isard must have spawned on one of the overflow planets, unfortunately. But
Enemy base shields up. Sensor node constructed.
The enemy is approaching.
Construction complete.
oh yay. I've always liked snow maps in this game. Like, the textures just looked better to me than a lot of the other stuff.
We secured a landing zone.
Heading out.
But yeah, they only have the barracks here, so it's not...
The enemy base shield is offline.
Alright. We'll just head over there. And... I guess I'll use the bombing run on this one because it's farthest away.
Bombing run available.
Watch this.
Phew.
Just give me a
You guys can probably do this alone too.
We've secured a landing zone. Choose your reinforcements.
So you... Bob actually finished the PX4 for Phoenix Rising, and we're going to be using that as well. So there's a lot of assets that are starting to go back and forth between TR and PR. So the PX4... Is it PX4? Yeah, PX4 is the big one. That'll likely end up on the Arado Authority as well.
moving.
That or maybe Maldrude.
Moving to fire.
So those... That'll hopefully be in game.
Unit destroyed.
Affirmative. Moving out. Keep my sight.
We don't need all of you to stay alive.
Order acknowledged. Heading out. Fall out.
But yeah, so generally we're not working too much on new ground units for this version other than the CSA stuff, but Bob was working on that for Phoenix Rising anyways.
Control achieved.
So there is going to be 1 or 2 things like that. Or there are going to be. Okay, let's check out
Crews are online.
Building under construction.
that. I mean, we don't really need that right now. This one we definitely don't need. So let's get you over there, because they can't go through... they can't go through BIS anyways. Till Era 3, which is a while off. I guess we'll check with this fleet. It's not the best fleet, that's the problem.
Construction.
We do have these other ships here, so let's get them into that fleet, and then we'll use them to take Kuwait.
Escort carrier standing by.
We're moving out.
You're gonna go into the Corellia fleet, you're gonna go
Move
there
out.
as well. And that'll have us open in one. So,
Battle imminent.
up. All right, let's
Enemy has been
see.
spotted.
Reinforcements en route. Hypervelocity cannon firing.
Form up.
Okay, fighters,
Armor target.
Reinforcements
go and do
en
your
route.
thing.
Your orders.
Basically, we're gonna try to
Waiting orders. Copy. Await
try to keep them busy. The Validusia is gonna try to soak up some of the damage, and we're gonna rely on our HV guns to do most of the thing.
Orders. Squadron standing by.
Then, can we afford another goal in here? I think we can. There should be more slots. Someday we'll be able to defend Nelhada as a
Ready
Hutt
for
fleet.
battle.
That'll be nice.
For the Empire.
Ready for command, sir. TIE squadron.
I just wish we had like 17
Ready for battle.
3D artists.
Under control. Watching. He's coming around. Just close.
Yes, Commander.
Alright,
Watch your back. Returning to your position.
Hypervelocity gun
Intercepting.
available.
I'll take care of this. I got one.
I'm hoping to get the engines out on some of them, but
Formation.
Changing
Go
course
on.
to intercept. Reporting.
Getting a lock. Closing in.
Target the lasers.
I think we'll probably add the rotate ability even to the Validusia. I didn't want to do it because it's so awkward. Like, this one, if it spins, is more likely to go through stuff, but either that or we'd have to give it much higher firing arcs.
Acquiring.
Which I'd probably rather do that than
Yes, Commander.
make it spinny.
Ready out of formation. Engines
Because you'd probably run into some issues with that.
bomber standing by. Hit the ion cannon banks.
I wonder if that's why there's sometimes the issue where the
Enemy forces.
marker spawns and then it doesn't
Weapons ready.
Roger that.
move again.
Set.
Well, really that hasn't been reported too much since the release. I don't know if it's just because people haven't reported it or because it doesn't happen as much. But it used to be a thing where you'd put the marker for the station rotation ability and it would stop working. But we weren't able to track down a cause and it doesn't seem to happen consistently for us. So, I don't know.
Attacking the lasers.
He's headed your direction. Marking position. Returning to your position. Tightening up.
Roger that. We're on the move.
I'll take care of this.
Our space station is under attack.
Our engines are out.
Forces. Intercepting.
It'd be nice to update this model someday too.
Engaging the enemy.
Again, not a huge priority thing, but if we did have the time and the resources at some point. It's a lot of bombers. Where are we going to get that many gnomes?
Form up. Direct fire at their laser cannons. Bombers at the ready. Awaiting orders.
Shields almost gone. He's about to be destroyed.
Locking on. Ready for action.
Returning to your position. He's headed your direction.
Reinforcements en route.
Alright, you've barely taken any damage. They're taking a lot of damage.
Laser cannons disabled.
Reinforcements en route.
So hopefully this doesn't piss them off and make them want to attack us again.
Available. Space station damaged.
Let's go with that one, because we're doing enough with these guys.
I copy.
Let's get our reinforcements in there.
Comlink active.
And hopefully this is the kind of thing that once we start getting a bit more into force compositions, we'll be able to give them a bit better spread out fleets
Instructions
too.
received.
Reporting.
Coming around. I'll take
They need a few more anti-fighter ships in these.
Fire at the engine.
There we go. Alright, nothing gets away. Technically, you can see those fighters getting away, but they're not actually getting away. Take my word for it. This isn't Reading Rainbow. You do have to.
Construction complete.
Was that Reading Rainbow? I think that,
Building
yeah, that
started.
was a Reading Rainbow thing. You guys... I mean, I could put this fleet there, but I kind of do like luring... You know what? Let's just put that fleet over there.
Construction complete.
It'll be fine. And once those next Star Destroyers get in here, we can go into Kuwait, which I won't check for.
Maneuvering.
You guys I'm going to send into Bothell. Oh, they don't even have anything here. Poor Empire. They're just in the middle of everything. In general, we tried to balance out the absolute number of starting forces, but it did work out where just the positions were make it a little bit harder for the rebels and the Empire. So we might bump it up a little bit for them, especially for the AI.
We shall be there shortly. Right away.
But we'll see.
Moving out.
Well, let's see. Vader Shadow. This is Giant Triangle of Doom.
Copy.
Your mom.
Attack.
Rebel Send.
Reporting.
Spartan's Pride.
Fire.
That one's Vader Shadow.
That target.
Nova,
Fallout.
which I don't think we've used before. Aristotle, which I believe we did, and then it died at some point. Peacemaker.
Go.
And I did switch Cordial Discourse to an IST-1, which is what it was supposed to be, but I misread it, so my apologies. But it is now what it was always intended to be.
Star Destroyer.
So being the Star Destroyer 1 it was born to be.
Yes.
Instead of one of those more modern IST-2s.
Attacking target. Awaiting orders. Fire at will.
Okay, Punishers, get over there.
Our shields are
Na,
down.
na, na.
I'll take care of this. He won't be around much
Awaiting
longer.
your orders.
Get behind them.
Awaiting your command.
Have them now.
Your
Closing on
command, sir.
target.
Commander.
Pursuing
Our
enemy
primary
forces.
entry system is down.
Alright, you're gonna go over and kill these Lancers for us.
Reporting in.
So you're gonna kill that Lancer.
Roger that.
You can probably come in a little bit more.
Order confirmed.
Enemies in range.
Targeting.
Target scene.
Heading for attack position.
He's headed your direction. Narrow
And we'll probably try to get the Cardan in. Cardan? I'm gonna say Cardan. Why not?
He's coming around.
Which was always supposed to be the Imperial like version of the Validusia and Empress. Like the Empire, and then probably for Zinj and Maldrude as well. And leave PA and Aridu with Validusia. I think that was the intention. Or no, maybe not Zinj, maybe Yavitha. But anyways, there were supposed to be two options for the Imperials, depending on their sub-faction. And it just wasn't ready in time for 2.2, so hopefully we'll be able to get to that.
Invasion commencing.
But because we did have a new model that we made for Ascendancy, we'll have to see how it looks in EAW, but it should at least match the art style of the model a little bit more than the base game one, which we do currently use for Zinj's capital, the Rancor base.
As you command.
Alright. I honestly meant to grab Weir and drop him, but I did Weirs instead. They just sound so similar when you say it with an accent.
Destination is acknowledged.
Destination.
En route.
Choose your reinforcements.
Colonel Weirs. Alright.
Deploying stormtroopers.
Let's bring in Cult of Haster. We haven't used them in a while. And also this IDT.
Cancelled.
Yes, General. Order acknowledged. Standing by.
Alright, it's just a barracks, so I'm just gonna...
New coordinates.
Bombing run available.
Let's move out.
You jerks. You tried to kill my IDT.
Awaiting orders. Commencing bombing run.
Roger that. Let's go.
Enemies in.
Keep going.
Alright, they made it.
Base is under attack.
Attack.
I like the layout of this map, but the cliff makes it just kind of weird to work with the camera, which is unfortunate. Alright, I assume that's it. This is where the stormtroopers are? Yeah. And that's gotta be it. No, it doesn't have to be it.
Over there.
Ready. Over there. Yes, sir.
There's gotta be another mine over here then. So I think we did only destroy 2.
I'm here, sir. Coordinates received.
There it is.
Momentarily.
Base is under attack.
Right away.
Bombing run available.
On my way, sir.
Reinforcements
Ooh,
canceled.
sensor ping.
Reinforcements canceled.
Reporting in, sir.
Yeah, this is definitely in the kind of ground battles that I was talking about wanting to avoid. Just being able to cut out completely. Where it's really just a where's Waldo.
Ready to receive your transmission, sir.
Okay, I guess we've got to check out over here.
Rolling out. Moving to position.
Destroyed.
On my way.
Copy. Initiate attack run. Commencing bombing run. Ready to roll. We've sighted them.
Oh, there it is. I could have swore there were 2 up on the hill, but no. There were not.
AT-AT ready.
I read you. Moving out, sir.
Oh, yeah, I built another one.
As you command.
Armored transport ready. Commencing attack.
But yeah, whichever faction gets the PX4, they'd lose the A9. If they fill similar roles, the PX4 hits a bit harder. I guess the PX4, A9, and the Juggernaut, they're all kind of in the same family.
Control achieved.
Alright, so Kashyyyk, I'm surprised the Rebels did, or the New Republic, sorry, didn't actually take it. But there's Coruscant. Do we dare take Coruscant? I don't think we do yet. The Empire that only has Yankor, Karda, Coruscant, Odic. Then they have Kashyyyk over there. And Tagoria. New Republic's almost certainly going to take Tagoria. You are still neutral. They do have the Kutric hegemony, actually, in its entirety. Pretty much. Oh, well, no, not Vercinri. That's Maldrude. Huh. Alright, let's actually take a second again to check out this. So, Empire's down to 11%. They were at... what? Like... almost 20, I think, in the last episode, no? New Republic's down to 8. Empire of the Hands at 4. PA's up to 32. I think they were 31 earlier. No, they were 32. Either way, similar. Greater Maldrude's at 15, which is not bad. Singe is at 9. Radu, which is us, still at 21. So we've stayed about the same throughout this episode. So I think we are going to leave it there for today. So thanks for watching, everyone. Hope you're enjoying the series so far. In the next episode, which will be tomorrow, I think we'll potentially go in for hut space. Fight the rebels a little bit over there. But then, I'd rather get our money's worth out of this for a while, because we're not going to be pushed against over there. Maybe we'll just finish off the rest of the Empire and the core here. And leave Odic so that they do at least have some territory. Maybe even start going against the Empire of the Hand. That might be good. So, yeah, thanks again for watching, everyone, and I will see you next time. Again, we do have the community matches coming up this afternoon. That's at 3 p.m. EST. If you do want to take part in those, just head over to the Twitch page or the YouTube live stream page. And the games will be up starting at 3, and we'll just go through a bunch, and that should be fun. So, that's it for now. See you next time, guys. Bye.